Hello and welcome to this new video, and in this video I will be talking about how you can land your first internship and how I landed my first internship. So about me, I joined my first internship offline in Indore, which was in June 2023. It was just after my first year and I only joined it for a month, and then I moved to this next company. I was there for almost 2 years, then the third one for 2 or 3 months, and the another one for a month, and then currently I'm working here. So in total I have 6 to 7 experience, which I have listed 5 here because I have switched multiple small companies during this full-time job. I will be discussing that about. So this is my experience. Now let's move on to my story, which is this. So I will summarize my story to you so that you can understand how I exactly prepared and what have been my journey. So in my first year, I done graphic designing, video editing. So I was looking for some internship, and luckily I got a friend which she referred me in this company, and I was working there as a video editor and graphic designer, not as a developer. Okay. So I was not working as a developer and I was a video editor and graphic designer there, but I said that I want to do development. So they also give me this WordPress website task to edit, and I did it by simply manipulating the HTML CSS. Then they give me another website to do it. So I made it from scratch. They were only paying me 1,000 rupees per month. So I quit them just after a month. And after that I started to apply on LinkedIn, and that was a pretty much a long drastic ride for me because I eventually end up applying for approx 300 companies, and which of them only 284 companies rejected me, and I was selected in 16 companies, which of them I was able to land 7 interviews, and I was able to crack only 3 of them. It was for a video editor and graphic designer role, but I was also looking for a web development role, and luckily, out of 3, 2 were the web dev role and 1 was the video editor and graphic designer role. Even though the pay was something like this, for the video editor, I was getting around 10k, and for the dev, I was getting around 8k. So I choose to going with the 8k company, and the another one was paying me 5k, but I completely ignored that. So I was going with this 8k company, which was Xpelly. I mentioned in my portfolio as well. So they paid me around 8k, and I was doing their solely development, also partially handling their graphic designing because I like to do it. So at there, I learned all of the skills, all of the things. I knew a little bit of React and most of the HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. But I eventually learned React in the first 5 to 10 days. And then later on, I also learned Next.js there and built a lot of over, I guess, 60 to 70 landing pages and 3 to 4 full stack web pages in the 1.8 years of a span. And this has been my journey. Now let's go with your simple doubts and things, so you will also land your first internship. So the first one is about DSA versus development. So if I put it simply, then I would suggest that DSA is not something you should be focusing on. If you are in your first or second year in college, I would highly recommend you going with the development side, because that way you will be easy to land your internship and you will learn a lot of things industry standard, and you will have couple of experience, so that you will be and that will be helping you out eventually instead of just stuck around in the DSA. For your information, I have only solved one DSA question as of now. It was 2 sum question and I solved in Go because I was just learning Go. So this was my DSA story. And for the development, I have done starting to HTML, CSS, JavaScript to end up being a Munstack developer, then a Next.js, then Hono, then Express, and in the database I've done all kind of database ORMs and a little bit of machine learning as well, a little bit of mobile development as well, React Native. I've learned all these libraries and the frameworks. So this has been my journey for last 3 years. About DSA and development, this is my controversial take. If you like, you can follow. If you don't, if you really want to follow my first step, then I would highly suggest you focusing more on dev than DSA. If you are really targeting a farm company, then I would suggest focus more on DSA than development, because DSA is the one highly asked than development. So you should be going with that. And if you are targeting for a internship, then I would suggest go with the development, because that is the only key thing that will give you the internship. At the end, you work on the development side. You are not going to solve some mathematic problems or the algorithm for which you will be paid. So you just have to keep that thing in mind, because the only thing gives revenue to a company is your code. Your code, it can be from a landing page, it can be from a feature, eventually converts a customer, and the customer pays the company, and the company pays you salary. So this is the loop which you need to understand, and for what you are being paid. So this is something you need to keep in your mind before going in this loop of DSA versus development. I would highly recommend, if you really have time, then do both. If you don't, then I would say just go with the development and make yourself a little skillful. All right, moving on the next pointer, which is developing a skill. So about developing a skill, it is not as simple as saying that just be a Munstack developer. It doesn't really matter what kind of developer you are or what technology you are working. It can be web, it can be app, it can be data science, Python, whatever you are interested in. The only thing matter here is that you should be good with your field, because if you are average in that, nobody is going to hire, because whenever you are talking to someone, they always are looking for someone who is expert in their craft. Nobody will be paying you to teach you. So you need to keep that thing in your mind and learn it until you master it. So when I was doing HTML CSS, I was fortunate enough to crack it, because I was at that time also making a lot of landing pages and things. I had enough proof of work to show them that, hey, I know this skill. If you hire me, I will also do your work. And the founder was ready to take a bet for a month. Probably in your case, that is not the case, and that may not be possible, because recent time the competition have grown significantly. So you need to be more skillful before landing your first internship. I know it's hard, but it essentially not going to be easy. So just keep doing it, improve your skill and develop more. Focus on making better products out there instead of making projects, because projects can lead you to an internship, but a product will lead you to a better paying job. So thinking of the final goal, you should make your products. You should make products instead of projects, and do not copy paste the YouTube projects. Make your own one that is solving real problem. So this is what stand you out from the rest of the crowd. Moving on to the next pointer, which is finding companies. Now finding companies is pretty much you can do two in three ways. The first one is you will go through the LinkedIn, Naukri.com, freelance.com and stuff like these job listing portals, and you will find a company there. This is the standard way which I was following, but I can tell you one secret thing, which is you reach out to the companies instead of going through their job portal. If you have seen, if some company is hiring for X amount, then go through their LinkedIn, find their HR or the developers that are working there, and talk to them. Say them that you have this skill and you can contribute to their team. You like this. So that way they will be knowing that, okay, you exist. You will cut off the rest of the competition, because essentially cold mailing is something which will get you a lot more reaction than your simple easy apply will give. So I would suggest that you reach out to the companies. The next thing is you will find founders, mail them a cold mail, or another way is if you find any website or any company's website and you find that, okay, this website have this issue, I think I can fix this. Then do make a fix, tag them on their social media and say them that you have find this thing and you have fixed this. So that way you will grab their attention, and then you will reach out to them. Okay, hey, I am also available to work. Are you guys hiring? The only best and worst way is, the best case scenario is they will hire you. The worst case scenario is they won't be hiring you, but you will at least have more proof of work to show. So the more you build, it won't hurt your projects, it won't hurt your process. It will always going to support you, and you will have free eyeballs, or people will remember that, okay, this guy have changed this company's portfolio and he made solve this error. So they will be remembering you. Like, people usually remember me because of my design sense and because of how I design. I was designing a admin panel, and the guy told me just keep it simple, but I still made it super fancy, super good looking, and that way I was being popular as a design engineer, or someone who designs really well and is doing with a responsibility. So that way you will grab a lot of attention, and that way you convert your normal post to actually a attention farm, and the attention farm later on converts to gives you a lot of opportunities, and these opportunities later on convert to a job or an internship. So this is the usual flow. Now the next is avoid scams. So by avoiding scams, I mean avoid working in such companies which says that pay us 5k and we will give you this certificate or something. Don't fall for this step. This is pure scam. This is something that you should be avoiding. You have seen a lot of students falling for this. I think I know some companies called Code Swift. Whenever you see such companies who are offering you to learn, then instantly know that they are a scam, because no company is going to pay you for teaching you. So no company is like a TCS. The already I have told you that a company only earns money when you make something for them, and the thing that their product or their business uses and eventually saves time or saves money, and you will get paid for saving their time or money or the effort. So this is the simple thing you have to keep in your mind to avoid these kind of scam. It's really easy to fall in this kind of spam. So I have seen a lot of juniors falling for that. So just avoid. Next is cracking interview. Once you have skills, you are getting interviews. Then the next skill is solving the interviews. The key thing here is, if you really want to stand out here, I would tell you one secret sauce is, whenever you are working for this X company and you know you have an interview, then go to this X company website slash product and just it, like use it for a day or for some hours and find some vulnerability slash a feature that you think it should be there. And whenever your interview is going on and whenever you are talking to the person, mention them, okay, I have used your product and I find this thing wrong, or I think I can improve this thing. That gives the interviewer a perspective that you are really hooked to the product, you are using it, and you know what can be improved. That makes it more personalized, and this is the underrated tip which usually converts your interview. It is not related to the technical tip which I was giving, but it's more focused on the personalization side. This is the way you grab the attention of the interviewer, so they will be hooked. Now the next step is cracking it. So I would say just focus on basic setting up thing. Be professional, have a good mic or some camera so that you will be visible, have a good stable internet connection. Also focus more on your voice, because the better your voice is, the more the person will be eager to listen you. Whenever someone throws you a tough question, then it's really easy to be fumbled or started to giving fast answer. Never give fast answer. Always be slow a little and think. Ask for more clarity. If somebody asks you that this happen, what you will do? You will ask more situational context. That okay, what we are exactly working on? What is this feature? What is our backend hosted on? And stuff like that. If there is any situational question, focus on asking for more details, because it won't hurt. It will give you more clarity. And if it is a live coding round, then I would say practice without any AI code editor, and also set up your code editor. Also, one underrated tip is learn key bindings, learn to use terminal properly so that you can show it off a little, which shows that you are working on this development for a very long time, which gives this comfortable vibe. So if you're really fast at typing speed, these are some pointers which will eventually improve but doesn't really significantly affect your knowledge and stuff. So these are the underrated things you can do to crack the interview. This one is major. So if you go through this product and thing, and if your interview is with the founder, then you can easily convert it into a full-time offer, because that is the founder you are talking to. But if it's an HR, then I would say just be quick. Take your time before asking question. Ask more question for more clarity, and never hesitate asking more question. So I've seen, I never used to ask question, but when I started asking question, it was really started to get easier for me to crack interviews. I don't even prepare most of the time for the interviews. I just straight up go to the interviews and give it. I will probably make a specific another video for cracking interviews, even though I have not been through pretty grilling interviews, because I was doing development pretty well, so I never really needed a specific preparation for interviews. But if you really need, I will make a video on this. We'll cover that point in depth as well. Now, next is how not to be fired. Once you have get an internship for a month or for a 3 months or for 6 months, then after that there will be a evaluation, and most of the people who somehow make it on campus in this ends up being fired. They are being fired because they are not responsible. Why they are not, or they see, there is always an unlucky criteria which plays a major role, around 30 to 40% that you will be fired, or the company does not really have budget. But if company have a budget and company is really going to fire 5 people, then you can minimize your chances by doing these things. Number one is be responsible. All right, be responsible. By what I mean is, being responsible is as simple as that whenever you are working on something, you will be like, okay, I will make this API, I will also integrate it to the front end and will deliver it by this time. Whenever you mention this time, I would say deliver it on time or try to deliver it early, because that way you are responsible person. You need to build this image brick by brick, day by day, in front of these team members. Always communicate with the higher ups. Always talk to your colleagues. A lot of questions, you can ask a lot of questions won't hurt until unless you are asking right questions. But if you are not and trying to do on your own, you are probably going to fuck up things. So it's always really a good practice to ask questions whenever you are in company. First Google them, and if you don't really find answers, then ask questions. Not just, don't be a blunt or dumb that I have said ask questions and you have started to ask bullshit questions. No. Second is, don't be a asshole and asking question all of the day. It is something which I was not doing, and I was fucking up a lot of things. When I started asking question, when I started asking for more clarity, I was really able to be more responsible, because when I ask question, people give, okay, this guy cares about this thing. You just need to show that you care about things. Eventually, most of the people don't really care about it, but since it's your job and you need to be responsible about it, so ask question which will give you more clarity. The more clarity you will have what you have to do, and that way you will be able to do your things on time. The second thing is over delivering. I would not recommend. If you are underpaid, then most of the time you are underpaid, so then over deliver on the first week and the last week of the month. It's really hard to write here. Last week of the month. This is the second tip. Third thing is be responsible. Also be responsible also covered this thing that whenever there is something production launch or whenever there is going to be testing, we always be there. Okay, I am here, you can assign me a x amount of task, I can do this as well. So the more thing you will do, the more you will be accountable for, the hard it will be for you to be fired. People will not be will not be firing you if you are giving them business. So you need to keep this thing in mind. I will probably make a more detailed video on this topic as well, because eventually I was able to convert my 3 months internship into a 2 years of job. So that is why there are a lot of pointers I should be covering, which is I am not in this video. But in short, the path is pretty clear for you. Is first of all, develop your skill. Choose development if you really want your first internship right now or within next 2 to 3 months. The next thing is develop your skill, build in public, show people your skill, that you know what you are doing and you are building something. Don't be underconfident. Always write, I am a software developer, not I aspiring software developer or future software developer, because nobody will hire you that way. So you need to be a software developer, not aspiring or a future software developer. Then after developing skill, start to find companies. It will be a wrong line. It can take up to 5 days to a month, depending on what your skill are or what role you are looking for. It will take time, but it is not impossible and not difficult at all. Just play around with things, reach out to a lot of people and find companies. The next is avoid scam, avoid those paid scams as well. For the cracking interview, it's as simple as that. Be good with your skills, and I think this will be super easy for you to crack interview. They will ask just simple questions, and your experience. If you have experience, you can mention that. If you don't have experience, then you can show your project. And also always show that you know what you are doing. If you are underconfident in an interview, then there is a higher chance, or almost always a chance, that you will be not selected. How not to be fired will be a more detailed thing, but in short, it is about being responsible, being doing a lot of things, and being useful for the people, and also be available as well on your working hours. I'm not saying just spend your weekend working on this thing. If you want, you can. If you don't want, you cannot. But if it is your working day, then spend your time, give them your time which they are paying you for. So that is all for this video, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye bye. Also drop what on what topic you want the next video. See ya.